you can live a life in flow where your deepest heart's desires become reality. At Set to Love, we offer strategies and ideas on how you can stay out of crazy town. See, your human experience is meant to be lived with meaning, purpose, and creativity. You are here to contribute through your essence. We are best friends, moms, entrepreneurs, and above all, find our flow in assisting you to find yours. We come together weekday mornings to bring you ideas to fall deeper in love with your life and the journey that you are on. Take what works and ditch the rest, and always stay set to love. Thank you for being a part of this community. We're all designed to live in flow. So let's go.
How and what do we do to have flow with so much uncertainty in our lives right now? Do you freeze or do you just surrender? I don't know, but that's what we're talking about this morning. So welcome. And my buddy is here with me, Eva, and lots to talk about, so many things to be uncertain about. And I feel like, especially with the election coming up and people not knowing which way our lives are going to go, and just so fearful of things that we can't change. So could we talk about that today? I feel like that's really important right now to get our friends through all of this today.
Yes, absolutely. Good morning, Shelly. Good morning, everyone. I'm so grateful we're starting week 5 of our podcast. Yay! It's so exciting. It's so exciting. Yeah, Shelly, this is such an important topic. So I'm going to read the question that came in, and there's so many different ways we could go with it. Whether it's just right now, these uncertain times with things outside of us that we can't control, like the election. And for some of us, there's things that are going on in our lives right now that maybe there's a little bit more control over, but it still feels really crazy. So here's the question.
Okay.
I've had a big life change recently, and I find myself feeling really out of touch with myself and life in general. The identity I was holding on to is leaving. How do I get through this life transition? It feels so scary to be uncertain of where I'm going or how I'm going to get there. So that's the question that we're looking at today and trying to figure out how to help someone through that time of real uncertainty. And for me, just really think about your identity. I mean, we hold on to these identities so tightly, right? Like, I'm a mom, or I'm a wife, or I'm the CEO of this, or I'm a student, or I'm a political party, or I'm a fill in your religious belief. And what happens when one of those or several of those identities go away and you're in uncertain times, things outside of life you can't control? First, let's just validate what that feels like. Do you remember, for you, have you ever been in that? Some people call it the dark night of the soul. It's like that transition from sort of who you were living your life, doing your thing, and to where you are, the person you're going to become. It's like this void that you're in for a while. Have you been there before? What's that?
Oh, absolutely. And it's just same thing. It is really scary. And especially if you have so many other responsibilities that you feel like, I don't have time for this to happen right now. Like, why right now? There is no good time for uncertainty. And I think it's really depending on what it is. I mean, it could be divorce. It could be, you're moving to a different state and having to start all over. It could be a loss in your life.
And heck, it could be getting married. It could be something, having a baby. It doesn't have to even be a negative. It's just your life is going to change and you're not sure how you're going to get through whatever's next.
I think that's why flow is so important, because attitude has so much to do with how well or how easy things will flow for you. Mm-hmm. So for instance, when I had to go through a change, and even now going through a change, instead of focusing on the things that I am fearful of, I try to focus on the things that I'm excited about and the things that I'm grateful for. That sounds so simple, but some days it's really not, because I feel that our self-talk sometimes gets in our way. And so you have to just kind of still push that out. And I think just having people around you that still support you and remind you that sometimes just when someone would say to me, Shelly, you're okay. Everything is going to be okay. This is just something changing in your life and it's going to work out. So just start taking steps, one foot in front of the other. Like you said, even when people, happy times, getting married can be really stressful. They've got to, all the dates have to match up, all the, how many people can they have, or even now people canceling weddings because of COVID and having to reschedule them. That's a panic for a lot of people, but you can still enjoy this process and you can't change it. So you can either go with it or not. So
yeah, absolutely. I remember these big life-changing moments. So going from being a high school student to a college student, huge transition. Going from being a college student to just being in the world, big life transition. Getting married, all of a sudden being someone's wife, being responsible for someone else. Like you'll go jump out of an airplane 10 times, but the second you get married and you're responsible to someone, you're like, maybe not. And then the moment you have a child, you're like, yeah, never again. It's weird how these transitions happen in our lives, then getting a divorce and going, okay, wait, I am not the mom anymore. Now I don't even have mail coming to my new place. I don't even have furniture. What am I even going to do with my life? How am I ever going to be? Who am I going to be? And how am I going to get there? Life is full of transitions and they're going to always happen. It's just part of it. And the sooner that we can just accept that there will be transitions, okay, beautiful. Then it's how do you get through it with grace and love? And I was doing some research because I was thinking, what really helped me when I was going through things? One, crying. Don't hold it in. I love that advice that we got from Sarah on the Grand Canyon when we did that, is just, if you need to cry. Let it out. There is something really beneficial and it's so soothing to just let yourself go there. I know so many people who hold back and hold it in and store it up, and it's just going to make you sick. And the other thing that really I found really helpful when I was really in that dark place, not only just crying whenever I wanted to, a lot of times in the shower alone, with the doors locked so no kids would come in, but it was going out on a walk, going on a run, but moving my body. There was something so beneficial when I did not know what I was doing or where I was going, when I could just get on a trail with either a great podcast or really inspiring music, and I could bring in new information or just positive feelings. It helped me so much. There were days where that's all I would do. I did not do 1 ounce of work. I barely showed up, for the kids, like just doing whatever I could do. When they were gone, I was just on a trail walking. And it was really, really helpful for me to be able to do that. What's been something for you, Shelly, that was really helpful when you were going through?
I know this is going to sound, not exactly how we say to do things, but I think getting plenty of sleep, sometimes, you have to put a limit on it. But I think sometimes when let's just say it is something that's negative. Sometimes you just need to sleep more and just, I would tell myself, oh, if I could just go to sleep for a week, I would feel so much better. After a week, it will have had time to die down a little bit and I won't feel as panicky. So I really feel sleeping, watching movies, even just a good, whatever it is, if you like comedy, if you like drama, I would say not drama, but I would say like a love story. For me, I would just want a really good love story where I could sit there and cry, and then everything else will fade away. So that is important, to get lots of sleep and put a limit on it. Sometimes you could take a couple days, a weekend, and just say, I'm going to do nothing but eat ice cream and all the food that I eat. And I'm just going to be really good to myself in a way that I don't normally do. So it's kind of like self-pampering. And for me, the good friends, having people around me that if I just say, I really need a hug today, can you remind me again that I'm okay? I just think that that's so important.
Can I say too that I think having people in your life that love you, it could not be is like overstated enough. So I know for me, when I was going through that really, really difficult time, I didn't want to talk to anybody. And even the people who I loved and the people who loved me, you feel so alone, and like nobody can
Yeah.
understand what it's like to have the death of that identity go away. And if you are someone and you see that happening in someone else's life, sometimes you could be the person who really steps up for someone else. I know my sister was that person for me, and you were that person for me. And a therapist, but the two people I didn't have to pay. Like I wasn't talking to anyone. And finally, like my sister said, I'm not leaving. I am literally not leaving until you talk to me and tell me what is going on. And then with you, as my esthetician at the time, prior to being my best friend, just someone who I felt like this person isn't going to judge me. I see her once a month. I can just blah, this is what's going on. It's so important to have someone in your life like that. And if you see someone going through some uncertainty, or someone really is super anxious about the elections this week and you're not, or someone is going through a divorce, or they've lost someone or lost something that's really important to them or ties to their identity, if you can show up and say, I'm not leaving until you tell me something, tell me how you're feeling, what are you going through? I'm here for you. I think that's really, really important, to be that person for someone else, and or letting those people come into your life.
Well, I don't know why, but what comes up for me is I think of when I became single, and I'd been literally not dating for it seemed like a few years. And a friend came over with a bottle of wine, which I'm not even a big drinker, but she brought over a bottle of wine. And she said, we are going online and we're going to fill out, an eHarmony profile. And I mean, we laughed and we cried and but just having somebody just show up to do that. And it kind of like time passed. And then fast forward, our friendship became closer. And then I ended up meeting my husband. So you just never know. Synchronicities.
Right.
It's
But
like
look, you followed life's opportunities wholeheartedly. You were in your flow of that uncertainty. You went through that dark night of the soul. You went through that really challenging time. You were just with yourself and with your girls figuring it out. And when you were ready and the friend came over, you were like, all right, I guess let's see what happens. And you went with it. And Bob is what happened. The beautiful, most loving relationship you could have ever asked for. So it's so important, I think, when we're in uncertain times, to have hope, to have faith that you will get through this, that humans are the most ridiculously resilient beings. You can get through whatever challenge you are facing right now. And if it is something you cannot control, like the elections, or it is something outside of you that is just beyond what you are able to control, let it go. Just put it on a shelf, as Shelly would say, or stick it in the visor of your car and close it, and focus on what you can focus on. Focus on self-care practices. Focus on bringing yourself around people and music and activities and hobbies that fill you up and that push you to joy and set you to love. That's how you get through those dark things, even if it's just the tiniest glimmer of hope. If you don't have that, it's so easy to fall into that despair where you are sleeping all day, where you are crying all day, where you don't want to move your body, where you don't want to talk to anyone. And that's a really hard place to be.
Yeah. But I do think some of that is necessary. And another thing that came up for me, I know we're going to be running out of time, but it's really important. I thought of somebody who newly got married, and or you're a new mom. It applies really to both. And you think, oh, I didn't know it was going to change my life this much. And, now you do have to flow this way and that way. And just go with it, communicate, and realize that as time goes by, when you work through some of these new changes, it's not a bad thing, because no matter what, if you just keep going forward with a positive attitude and flow through it. I can't believe my granddaughter's 5.5 months old, and my daughter is the best mom. Like, she's really a good mom, doing well. And at first, I'm sure she's like, oh my gosh, is it going to be this hard forever? And now she's kind of gotten in her groove. It
So
just took
Shelly,
some
let's not
time.
tell the new moms that that's probably one of the easiest parts. It's like,
Yes,
I
yes,
think about how easy newborn babies are. The hardest
yes.
thing is you're not sleeping. But other than that, there's not a whole lot. And then they start moving and talking and walking and having opinions. And you're like, dang, you were so easy when you were
I know, but
a
I'm just
month
saying,
old.
yes, absolutely. Well, what a
Oh, you
great
guys,
day.
I
I
hope
hope
everyone
everyone,
can figure out how to flow through the uncertainty of whatever it is you're going through. Just be with yourself. It's okay to be wherever you are today and do something that brings you joy. Do something that's going to make you happy and really try to hold that high vibration this week. It's going to be a challenging week for a lot of us in this country, no matter where things go, no matter what else is happening in your life, because this is not the only thing. There's probably so many things in your life. So just be kind to yourself, be kind to the people around you. And that's how we flow through uncertainty is we love ourselves and we love our fellow man, regardless of where they are.
you're amazing. Well,
I love
everybody, if you'd like to support us, come visit at www.settolove.com. If you'd like to be featured, please email us at settolovepodcast@gmail.com. And we'd love it if you'd subscribe, make a comment, hit the bell. We're at www.patreon.com/settolove. Have a great day and much love to everyone.